Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggi, and joining me from Phoenix is Derek. How you doing, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you been?
Trying to stay cool. It has been hot and nasty up here.
Yeah, I believe you, man. It was really nasty here in Phoenix last week. It was around like 86 to 93 all week, but the humidity
Yeah.
was around 80 to 85%, which is not very Phoenix like.
Right.
And
It was
that was the
similar to that
first
here
week
last
that
week,
I,
too. Yeah. It was like that here, too. Mid 80s, high humidity. Yucky.
last week was my first week working a manual labor job in 7 years. So I like that the good Lord decided to make and I used to do pest industry work in Raleigh,
Mm.
North Carolina, and I promised I'd never do that again. So I went to start doing a pest route here in Phoenix, and my first week it felt like Raleigh, North Carolina. So yeah,
Well,
I got a taste of it again, man. So but it's a lot. Today was beautiful, man. It was 109, but you couldn't tell, man. There was hardly any humidity.
phew.
Kaylee's
Yeah, it was
here.
about 100, 103 around here today, and you could tell. It was hot.
Christopher
It was,
Unruh
like I
is
said, last
here.
week. We had a break in the heat last week. It was nice, except for the humidity was up there a little bit. But had the big annual car show here in town last week, where everybody had their old classic cars in town and stuff, and that was really cool. And they always managed to have one celebrity in the whole thing during that thing, and I always make it a point to go just for that reason. And this year they had, I'll pull the picture up here, Cindy Williams that played Shirley Feeney on Laverne and Shirley. She was the one they had there this year. And she was a really nice gal. I really liked talking to her. It was really cool. I mean, you can see
That's
in the
really
picture,
cool.
she's got her hand under my chin and everything. I thought that was really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I had a good Saturday. I did that before I had to go to work. So I mean, I had a real quick stop and then I had to head on to work.
Well, that's a nice Saturday, man. I was working.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I went to work Saturday. Worked 2 stops, puked everywhere, and then I was
Uh,
sick. I was sick from Friday, Saturday to Sunday.
wow.
Um, but it wasn't an illness. I had ran out of a medication, and
Oh.
I didn't realize how bad it would be. I missed it for 3 days, and I knew I was going to get it again on the third day. So I just was like, whatever. And then on Friday, which was day 2, I started feeling like I had the flu. And so
Wow.
anyway, long story short, I Googled what happens if you run out of this particular pill, and it says that you basically get the flu. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I had a rough weekend, but I'm feeling a lot better. Connie Judd's here from White City. We got Tatum, who was also backstage.
Yep.
Um, she
My
has made
right
me
hand,
sign a
my
contract
tag team
saying I'll
partner.
never bring her up. She said never to surprise her by bringing her up. We got Andrea Lynn from
Oh, you
Junction
shouldn't have told me that. You shouldn't have said that. I'm just honored enough to do
City.
it.
Andrea Lynn just graduated it was either some kind of college or some kind of scholastic program, but congratulations for that. Always love seeing people further their education.
Yeah,
Nikki Wiley is here.
that's awesome, Andrea.
Lamar, Missouri. Wow. Must be watching maybe
Yeah.
those from the Missouri page. We got Rodney Cox here. Ottawa.
Kaylee's in the house. Hey, Kaylee, how you doing? Oh, Tatum says I can. I look okay tonight. Okay.
Well, let's go ahead and real quick, if you notice on the top right part of the screen, Big Fish Bail Bondsman, big or small, we catch them all. Big or small, we release them all. They have paid for our website for this next year. So if you go to kmupod.com, you'll also see their logo there where it says powered by. And we just want to give a huge shout out to them because they are paying something that we were tired of paying. It's expensive to do what we do here. So
Yeah.
really big shout out to Big Fish Bail Bonds. But we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. We'll be right back after this.
Leaving an abusive relationship is a highly personal, individual decision, but all survivors benefit from having trusted people during this time. Since those experiencing abuse are often isolated by their abusers, it's important to know how you can support survivors on their path to finding safety. If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, please reach out to the hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Again, That's 1-800-799-7233.
All right. I wanted to start off with Jason Caballero Rivera. And I just got to locate him here. It took me a little bit to find him in my files. There we go. Missing from Shawnee, Kansas since April 14th of 2022. He's 17. He's 5'8", 160 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Jason's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Shawnee, Kansas Police Department at 913-631-2150 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Jason located and back to where he needs to be.
I feel like I know Shawnee, Kansas exists, but I couldn't tell you where it is on the map. But I think I may have been there, drove through there one time.
I'm wanting to say it's over by Kansas City, I believe.
Maybe I'm wrong.
913
Oh no,
area
I've been to Pawnee Rock, which is not the same thing at all. Yeah, well, hopefully anybody in Shawnee might be watching this or catching the replay or hearing the podcast. That's been quite a while. April, it's been 4 months since anybody's talked to him. 17-year-old kid, so definitely need to have this flyer circulated around Kansas and see if we can get any leads on this. Jason, if you see this, you're almost an adult. You got school starts like here. My kids go to school tomorrow, Jason. I don't know what the situation is in Shawnee, but school's starting. As you know, it's time. And and like we were talking about earlier with Andrea in our chat, education is so important. Even just a high school education would get you so much further if you didn't, and then if you didn't have one. So just if you're seeing this and you're taking a break from everything, just remember that school's going to start soon, and you're almost an adult, and you have your whole life ahead of you to do whatever you want to do. So,
yep. So give somebody a call, let them know where you are, and let them know where they can come pick you up at and get you back to where you need to be.
Yeah. Might as well go to school and get it over with, man. It's
right.
I didn't enjoy school while I was there, but I'm glad I went, for real. Me and Brandon both work pretty hardcore manual labor jobs. We wish we would have went to college every day. Let's talk about Rae Shaffer. Now this one's, I don't know, the first time we covered it, I was worried, but this is just getting scarier and scarier. I actually Googled her name, which is something I don't usually do because we usually have all the information on these cases, but I Googled her name, and we're talking all over the internet. Web sleuths just like us are trying to spread the word about this.
Right.
I saw other people making flyers for her. So this is a pretty serious situation where it's been quite a while since this girl has been seen. But Ricky's going to tell you all about Abby.
Yeah, and my understanding is some of her family may be watching tonight, and we do know that they're really going through a rough time because there has been no leads, there has been no information, no nothing. It's just like Abby just up and vanished, and nobody knows where she's at, or if they do, they're not saying anyway. But
right,
she is missing from Kansas City, Missouri. She's been missing since May 23rd of 2022. She's 22 years old. She is 5'2", 120 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. She was last seen getting into a dark gray four-door car with an unknown adult male. She does have a tattoo of a large fish on her upper right arm and several other tattoos. And I'd see if he's got this pictured. No, he hasn't shown them on there yet. Abby was last known to be wearing a tan-colored long-sleeve crop top, black leggings, and gray Nike sandals. And there's a couple pictures from a Ring doorbell footage before she went missing. They're right there. If you have any information regarding Abby's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department Sex Crime Missing Persons Unit at 816-234-5220 and let them know what you know regarding Abby's disappearance. Again, her family is just frantic with worry because there just has been nothing about Abby coming in at all. No information, no tips, no leads, no nothing. So, we encourage anybody that has any information regarding Abby's disappearance, please call that 816-234-5220 immediately and let them know what you know.
Well, to me, what's troubling is we know from previous flyers that you made that there was somebody came up in a car and she went out and talked to him. And the thing that I felt was worrisome about that is at one point we were saying that the car was sitting there for up to 4 hours or something
Yeah.
like that before
It
she
was
went
like
outside.
6 hours. Yeah.
6 hours, so even
Yeah.
worse. So to me, what's kind of puzzling is I don't know the chain of events. So I see Abby out there at the car talking to the person in the car, but then the main two pictures, the most important pictures on this flyer that we've been sharing since day one, is this Ring doorbell where it looks like she's coming back inside after talking to somebody.
Right.
So my thing is did she leave with that car? Did she come back inside and then is unaccounted for? It's kind of confusing, especially when you had the car photos on there. I just don't know the chain of events why the Ring would catch her walking back into her house if she walked out to talk to that person.
Right. The only thing I can think of is she ran back inside to grab something and turned around and went back out. I don't
True.
know.
But I mean, if it was somebody who was somebody who was like a threat to her, maybe going inside would be getting away from him. So I don't know. It's just a lot of questions about Abby Rae Shaffer right now.
Right. Yep. And Abby, hopefully, if you're out there watching or hear about this or see this, let somebody know where you are and let them know you're okay. There's got a lot of people worried about you and wanting you home.
Yeah, that's for real. Well, tell us about Shea Twitch.
Shea Twitchell. She is missing from Newton, Kansas since May 9th of 2022. She's 15, 5'6", 130 pounds. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. It's believed that she is still in the local Newton area. So if you have any information regarding Shea's disappearance, her whereabouts, please call the Newton, Kansas Police Department at 316-283-4190 or the Harvey County, Kansas Communications Center at 316-283-4190 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And let's see if we can't get Shea located and back to where she needs to be. And hopefully she's okay out there.
Yeah.
And again, Shea, if you're watching or you get told about this, let somebody know where you are so they can get you back to where you need to be.
Yeah, that's pretty young, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And Newton's just right there by Wichita, Newton's a big place, We got Tatum was saying it's southeast part of Bonner Springs. Okay.
Yeah, Shawnee, Kansas, yeah.
Shanna's here from Wichita.
Lancaster.
Josie from Lancaster.
Yeah,
and then
Tatum's asking if any of Abby's family is in watching the show tonight. Please, you can comment if you want to.
Yeah.
We welcome comments, especially from family members.
Yes. And then we also have Amanda Cunningham from Amarillo. She is a return. She comes quite a bit. She comes to this show quite a bit.
Yep, she's here quite a bit.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Love it when we see people. Again, I'm going to bring this flyer on the screen. I'm going to have you read the flyer, and then I'm going to bring our producer, Brandon Smith, behind. You probably won't see him, ladies and gentlemen. He's handsome. You're going to miss him. But he's actually a friend of one of these people. I don't have him just talk a little bit. But tell us about Phillip Dean here.
Okay. He is missing from Raleigh, North Carolina since August 13th of 2018. He's 42 when he went missing. Now he's 46. 6'2", 200 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen by family in Raleigh, where he was living at the time. On August 26, 2018, his family received a text message from Phillip stating he was in Greensboro, North Carolina, working. Phillip's cell phone was turned off by the phone company for failure to pay shortly afterwards. When law enforcement checked on his residence, Phillip's mailbox was full of mail, but his residence was vacant. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 42. He's now 46. He is 6'2" and weighs 200 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Phillip's disappearance, of his whereabouts, please call the Raleigh, North Carolina Police Department at 919-996-3335 or 919-831-6311 and see if we can't get Phillip located and back home where he needs to be.
Let me go ahead and bring Brandon up. Brandon, did you say that Phillip's kind of maybe I'm remembering wrong? Maybe he kind of introduced you and your wife, or you knew of you?
Yeah, no, he's the whole reason me and my wife are together.
Wow,
he hooked us up. Yeah, he worked with my wife, and then he introduced her to me because he saw me playing at the bar, and I was friends with somebody else, actually roommates with one of his friends that he worked with. So it all kind of intertwined with each other. And yeah, Dean was pretty much the reason we got together.
Nice, man. So you met, your wife Jenny years ago, but so
Yeah, 17.
2018. What was your communication like with Phillip before he would disappear?
The last that we had heard from Dean was he was working on trying to write a book, and he wanted to get stories and stuff from when we all used to hang out. So Jenny was working on getting stories together for him, but she never really got back up with him, and he never really followed up either. But next thing we knew, he was missing.
Wow. Well, anybody that we this is a Kansas-based show, but we do cover cases from all over the country. Anybody in Kansas that has any ties to North Carolina, maybe have friends, family, or relatives or whatever, give this a share. It's on our page. Give us a share, and let's get Dean home. Brandon, I appreciate you telling us about your friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, that's rough. 2018 is a long time ago. That's where you start to really get worried, especially with the circumstances and everything. And isn't like the idea, like basically everything was gone from his place too?
Yeah.
So maybe there's a situation where Dean went somewhere to write his book and he hadn't finished it yet, and he'll come back. That's what I hope, because all his stuff being gone's kind of, makes you wonder and everything. But let's talk about Linda Henry.
Okay. She is missing from Wichita, Kansas. Since March 18th of 2021. She was 69 when she went missing. She's now 70. She's 5'7", 145 pounds. She has gray or partially gray hair and green eyes. If you have any information regarding Linda's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get Linda located and make sure she's okay and get her back to where she needs to be.
4 months.
Yeah, looks like we got some more. Bernice Arce from Idaho.
Nice.
Hey, Bernice. And Rockin' Robin from Kansas City. Hey, Robin.
Rockin' Robin. What's the story with that name? I love it.
Over to Valeta Holly from Missouri. And Perez Candida from Garden City. Thank you all for joining us.
Much love from Garden City. I used to live there. I have a podcast called Garden City Podcast. You might want to check out. A lot of really cool people that live in that town or used to live in that town. Really cool podcast. Let's talk about Derek Collins. And this looks like, again, 2 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, missing from Leavenworth, Kansas since June 20th, 2022. Is 59 years old, 5'7", 193 pounds. Looks like he pretty much shaves his hair off. He has brown eyes. Last seen near Home Depot and Hardee's along 4th Street north of East Eisenhower Road in Leavenworth. He does have a medical condition that requires regular attention. Again, he's 59 years old, 5'7", weighs about 193 pounds, has brown eyes, and looks like he shaves his hair just about bald. If you have any information regarding Derek's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call Detective Flynn with the Leavenworth, Kansas Police Department at 913-758-2942 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Derek located and back to where he needs to be. And hopefully he's okay wherever he's at.
Especially with that medical condition. Who knows what that is, but that could be anything. That could be as simple as diabetes, could be a very, very serious situation.
Yeah.
Anytime you don't know where somebody is and their medications at the house, that's very concerning. Because most people, I'm sure, I don't know your health history, Ricky. I know your dad died at a young age, but I'm sure you take some type of medication every day, right?
Yeah, I do.
So, I mean, you wouldn't leave without that, right? And if you did, you would have.
I would take it with me, definitely.
Yeah. So anytime somebody's because anybody that has any kind of any kind of medical issues at all, where you have to take medication daily, you know how the reason a lot of people the reason you take your pills is because of how you feel when you don't. You know what I mean? So people really it's scary when somebody's missing and their medications at home. So
yeah, the medication I take, it just basically slows my heart rate down just a little bit because my heart has gone into AFib a couple times in the last 17 years. So once 17 years ago, the second time was 5 years ago now, a little over 5 years ago now.
Well, we're gonna have to get you a health plan because we need you around here. We have to take care of you, Ricky. You're the lifeblood of KMU. Let's talk about Jordan Albright. I feel like we've covered this case maybe a couple times, or
she's still out there somewhere. Missing from Topeka, Kansas since May 27th of 2022. She's 16 years old, 5'5", 130 pounds, has blonde hair and blue eyes. She was last seen in the Oakland area of Topeka. If you have any information regarding Jordan's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Jordan located and back to where she needs to be.
Yeah.
Here's Esther and Rue. Hey, Esther. Awesome. Haven't seen your brother yet. I'm not sure if he's watching or if he would tell me earlier when he was messaging me earlier he had to do laundry tonight, so he might be doing laundry.
Oh, that's Alex Perez's sister.
Oh, okay.
We can actually cover
thanks for joining us, Candida.
Let me go ahead and get that because I do have those. I forgot to upload them today.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was listing everything that we did. I didn't see Dana Bruce's, I didn't see Alex Perez's or Kenny Wright checks, and I was like, uh-oh.
Okay. And with everything being so hectic right now, I did pull all three of those, and we can cover those now. The only thing is the ages might be off because I don't know where I'm pulling from because we're live right now.
Okay.
But yeah, ages might be off, but you can correct those. Let me go ahead and get these pulled up. We'll go ahead and cover Alexander first because his sister is here, and it's very important that we cover it.
Okay. Well, Alex Perez is missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st of 2020. He was 35 when he went missing. He'd now be 36. He is 5'11", 235 pounds. He has black hair that he shaves off bald and brown eyes. He had last contacted a family member on the phone on December 1st, said he'd be coming over to do laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses. He has not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then, and he had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It's believed that Alexander may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in the Garden City, Kansas, or surrounding areas. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 36. He's 5'11" and weighs 235 pounds. He has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. Alexander has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If anybody has any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know where he may be, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And, let's get Alex located and back home. We're getting close to almost 2 years now, so we need to get him found and back home.
And this voice memo was sent out. The flyer reads he hasn't been seen since December 1st, 2020. This is the voice memo that was sent to our source on December 6th, 2020. So 5-day gap. This is the last contact from Alexander Perez.
I don't know, man. I'm supposed to be going back early morning to go get some shit and then go get some other stuff down there and bring it back down here, but I don't even know, man. It's been wild down there. It's been crazy. Fucking been held at gunpoint and robbed and tried to beat me up. It's a bunch of crazy shit going on in GC, man.
So that's sort of the situation. Amanda Cunningham says, I used to live in Dodge, and I agree Garden is a nice little town. And that's like a kind of a good point that you make. Garden City is a wonderful town. That's a wonderful place to work, live, raise your family. But as Alexander says, there's a lot of crazy things that happen in every town, you know?
Yeah. And Candida saying, thank you all for bringing up my brother the last 2 times. I needed that. Yeah, we cover him every show. Because we really want to help get him located and back home.
My friend Nicole Campbell is here. She is somewhere in Kansas. I'm not 100% sure. We got Jane Hale, Snavely.
Concordia.
Looks like, yeah, Concordia.
And Christopher is here. Hey, Christopher. Christopher Unruh.
Oh, nice.
This is Esther's sister. Or brother, I mean. God.
Kaylee is back. And then Nicole is in Wichita now.
Oh, okay.
Nicole, she says she's from, duh, I know Nicole's from Garden. Nicole, if you're watching on my personal page, you can go over to the Kansas Missing Unsolved page, and there's a lot more people to chat with there. But I do go to my personal page too.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and get into this next case. We're going to talk about our good friend Kenny Wright.
Yeah. Kaylee Ralph says, I'm back.
She is back.
Yeah.
She's in and out when she watches the show. We love that she's here.
Right. Yeah. Kenny Wright, he's missing from here in Salina, Kansas since November 4th of 2019. 69 when he went missing, and now be 72. He's 5'9", 175 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. He does sometimes use the last name Brown as opposed to his given name of Wright. He does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities and is on disability, but he's not tried to access his money since he was last seen. He may have family in northwest Kansas, possibly around Colby. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission in Salina. He left there and hasn't been seen or heard from since. The information I was given was he was having an issue with somebody that was also staying at the mission, so he chose to leave. He does not have a phone, a vehicle, or identification on him. At the time of his disappearance, Kenny was 69. He's now 72. He's 5'9", weighs about 175 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kenny's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Kenny located, and hopefully he's okay out there somewhere. You know, I've talked about this last show. It's kind of hard to keep up that hope because, you know, the bitter winters we've had and the extreme heat we've had since he's been missing. Unless he's like in a shelter or someplace or homeless camp somewhere, I just don't know. But I'm trying to keep that hope alive.
Well, again, I just want to know if the checks are being cashed. And 2, you also have to take in consideration that Kenny was, for lack of a better term, a rambling man. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't really pin himself down anywhere. He didn't have an ID. He didn't have anything like that. He kind of just walked around and did what he knew what he needed to do. He would, you know, do the scrap metal thing. He would just minded his own business, it sounds like. But somebody who lives that, like, detached from, like, you know, credit cards, the internet, all that stuff, it makes sense for somebody like that to maybe just one day, especially if it's on a bad day where they're not happy with where they're at, to be like, I'm just gonna put my thumb out on the highway. And maybe Kenny's living in, you know, 2 states away. He has no idea he's missing. You know, the guy doesn't get on Facebook. You know what I mean? So that's what I hope. But you're right. Like, if he's just missing out in the Salina, Kansas area, and he's been missing, wandering out there for this long, that's not a good, you know, prognosis. But
you know, hopefully he's okay out there somewhere. He's just choosing to live his own life, you know, living his best life out there somewhere.
I do, man. I like to think that he hitched a ride somewhere and he's somewhere just happy, no idea that he's missing. But who knows? We're going to keep showing this flyer. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We are going to have our producer, Brandon Smith, tell you about Dana Jane Bruce. And we're going to be right back after this. Go to our website, kmupod.com. That's powered by Big Fish Bail Bondsmen. They're right there in Wichita, Kansas. We'll be right back after this. Is it just me, or is that not playing any audio?
It's not playing any audio at all.
What is going on with that? Let me go ahead and pull this. Well, you just go ahead and read her flyer. Yeah, because I don't know what happened there. Maybe something's going on with our settings.
That could be. Okay, Dana Jane Bruce, missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she was missing. Should now be 37. She's 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair and green or hazel eyes. Dana was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She had left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for that evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with the man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that she was with that night, and he did travel to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance. Police did question him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. Told his questioners that he and Dana had parted ways after they had left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She would now be 37. She's 5'2" and weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She's blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100, or Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or their toll-free number is 866-362-6422. And see if we can't help get Dana located and back home to her family. I know they're really wanting to get her located and back home. And hopefully we can help do that.
So, let me see. So 14 years ago. I'm doing math.
Yeah.
I have my calculator out, Ricky.
Yeah, almost 14 years in October, yep.
I don't know if you read it in the flyer. We do so many, I can't memorize them all. But does it say how old her child was whenever this happened?
I haven't seen how old her son, Dylan's her son, but I have not seen anything about how old he was at that time.
So say he was 1. He's 15 now. Like with this much time going on, he's at least 14 years old. You know?
My best guess is that the one picture right there next to the tattoo, you can see her holding him in the picture, so he was quite small.
Right. But I mean, he's at least 14. So like that is a, that's one thing that anybody that has information that they might be sitting on. This isn't like that little baby over there in the picture. This isn't who we're dealing with like at least a 14-year-old person who has never been able to live down what they have no idea what happened to their mother.
Right.
So that's I don't know. You have to frame it like that sometimes. You know, it's like, you know, it's whenever we read these flyers and I see Dylan, I just think of this little baby, but it's not a baby. It's like almost a grown up. And
Ellen is saying she has 2 kids and they're both teenagers now.
So, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, the teenagers, and, you know, those are the formative years when things are hard and you have to develop a personality and try to, you know, stay on the right side of everything. And then to have, you know, something like where you don't know what happened to your mom, you know, like that's awful. So if anybody out there has information about this and you're holding it to yourself, just really think of it from that perspective that you're really wrecking existence for a couple of people, especially.
Yeah, so I'm sure they've been asking questions over the years as they've gotten older and stuff, like, what happened to mom? Where'd mom go? Is mom coming back? You know.
Right. Right. Well, now I am going to take a break because I found out what I did. But we're gonna have Brandon tell you about another case. This is Colton Barrera. My connection to this case is I was told by Colton's mom that Colton's birth father is from Elkhart, which is my hometown. So always really had a thing for this case, and I really hope that there's some resolution. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is Brandon, producer of the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast, and today I want to talk about one of our outstanding cases, Colton Ross Barrera. Colton went missing from Russell, Kansas on September 26th of 2008. He was 17 at the time he disappeared. He would now be 31. He's 5 foot 9 inches tall and weighs 135 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. A friend dropped him off at an outdoor skate park, and Colton was supposed to call his friend when he wanted to be picked up, but he never did. Authorities believe he left on his own accord, but Colton's family does not believe this because he wasn't having any problems that would cause him to run away, and he left his wallet and identification behind. Recent information suggests that Colton may have been killed and his body hidden. Colton's case remains unsolved. If you have any information regarding Colton's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call Russell County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-483-2151 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 or the FBI at 816-512-8200. And let's work together and get Colton back home.
Wow.
And thank you for that, Brandon. And I do know that Colton's mom does want people to call the FBI number first because she wants to get them re-involved in the case again because they were involved at one point in time, and she wants to get them back involved again. So she wants everybody to call the FBI first.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Nice.
Ellen is saying in regards to Dana's kids, they want to know why no one has came forth yet.
Right. And this right here is like, even me, I do this show. How many times we've covered Dana's case? 50, 60? I don't know. A lot.
Something like that.
And I just tonight put it together that we're not talking about babies anymore. Like we're talking about
teenagers,
adults almost. Yeah, they're here in a few years, 5-6 years, they're going to be like making their own decisions.
Yeah.
That's a horrible thing to go through. My wife has a podcast called Parentless Podcast where she talks about she lost both of her parents by the time she was 30, but they both died of natural causes. Like these people don't even know what's going on. They don't know any part of the story. You know, like they don't know how to. I mean, how do you heal from something when you don't even know what you're healing from? You know what I mean? It's just rough. I can't imagine how hard that is. Let's talk about Crystal Clipper.
Okay. She is missing from Kansas City, Missouri since February 24th of 1997. She was 18 when she went missing. She's now 44. She is 5'5", weighs 125 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. She went to St. Joe so she could hang out with a friend. The two went ice skating and enjoyed their day. After she had dropped off her friend around 2 a.m., she then headed home to Kansas City. Her friend noted that when the low fuel light was lit, Crystal claimed her car had good gas mileage and could return to Kansas City without filling up. Crystal had promised to call the friend when she got back home to let them know she made it okay. Unfortunately, that call never came. Around 2:20, Crystal's car ran out of fuel, leaving her stranded on the southbound shoulder of I-29 at State Route 371. Truck driver observed who he believed to be Crystal looking distraught, flagging down traffic. He noted that another vehicle pulled up behind her. Her vehicle was found by her mother the next day with the battery low, no fuel, and the hazard lights on. There was no sign of Crystal or where she would have gone. It was until later in 1997 that anyone had a clue what happened to her. John E. Williams, who lived in Kansas City at the time, was being investigated about the kidnapping and sexual assault of a young woman when items of Crystal's, her ID, paycheck stubs, and clothes, were found. DNA confirmed the clothes were hers, and the condition of her clothes determined she had been killed. Williams admitted he killed Crystal by hitting her with his car. His windshield was busted and fixed the day after her disappearance. It's believed that she was not killed by being hit by his car. that that the windshield was busted during a struggle with Crystal inside the car. Williams refused to say where her body was. He led them to the Platte City area, but she was not found and refused to divulge any more information. In 1999, Williams committed suicide, leaving no note behind to let anyone know specifically where her body was at. If anybody has any information regarding Crystal's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Platte County, Missouri Sheriff's Department at 816-858-3452 or 816-858-2424 and see if we can't help bring Crystal home to her family. Because I'm sure they would like to have her home.
Yeah,
And thank you, Barb Vanderwell, for sharing us in Michigan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that 1997, and I got cases that I'm trying to hunt down answers for from like 95. You know, that's just so long ago. It's a lifetime ago. You know, Crystal would be, you know, you see this 18-year-old kid essentially. Potential, she could be a grandmother right now. You know, I have friends that have done it, you know, had grandkids before 40, you know. Like you gotta again frame that this is so long ago. She was 18 since she's been seen, and you know, a 44-year-old human being like that's a lot of life. And I don't know, tonight I'm just feeling just very empathetic for these families and anybody that cared about, you know, anybody we're covering tonight that's just been gone for that long. I just can't imagine what it would be like.
Christopher Nelson saying, "Hey, brother, thanks for doing the show for the Kansas folks. Respect, brother." Well, you're very welcome, Christopher.
Okay, let's talk about Linda Marie Price.
And for this one, we're going to Kentucky. As soon as there it is. McKinney, Kentucky. Yeah, Linda Marie Price. She's missing from McKinney, Kentucky since June 8th of 2015. She was 31 when she went missing. She'd now be 38. She's 5'3" to 5'5". She weighs between 120 and 135 pounds. She has light brown and blonde hair and gray eyes. Let's see here. Linda has the following tattoos: a black and pink tribal design on her right shoulder blade, multicolored stars and ivy on the right side of her foot, a zodiac symbol, the Leo constellation on her left wrist, and a rose on her upper right arm, bicep area. She also has a butterfly on her left ankle and a multicolored flower on her lower back. If you have any information regarding Linda's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call Trooper Ayers with the Kentucky State Police at 859-784-4127. And let them know what you know about Linda's disappearance and see if we can't help get her located and back home where she needs to be.
Yeah. $2015.
Yeah, and here's a quick reminder from Tatum as well that some of the older cases have articles under their flyers in the comments on Kansas Missing and Unsolved. She's going through and linking information that she's finding on these cases as she finds it. Greatly appreciated too.
Yeah, that's a whole area that has gotten so much better for KMU.
Yeah.
Just Tatum being here every day has just been like, I thought we were doing good before we met Tatum. I was like, oh, we're doing a pretty good job. And then, like, Tatum, like 2 minutes after she joins, everything's like updating. I was like, oh, okay. We were struggling quite a bit.
Yeah.
To keep this going.
She's been huge. She's really been huge.
Yeah.
I am very glad that she came aboard.
Me too. It's been really great.
She keeps me busy, that's for sure.
She sure does, man.
Which is fine. I don't mind being busy.
I mean, this is what you were put here for, so you gotta
Yep.
do it. Let's talk about this whole situation here. She said May 12, 2000. I didn't read the flyer because I wanted to learn about it with everybody else.
Okay.
But it looks like a very interesting situation.
Yeah, we're covering Jennifer Lancaster and her daughters Monique and Sydney Smith. They're missing from Topeka, Kansas since May 12th of 2000. Jennifer was 18 when she went missing. She would now be 42. She's 5'5", 100 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. Monique, she was 6 weeks old when she went missing. She'd now be 22. At that time, she was 1 foot 10 inches tall, 91 pounds, black hair and brown eyes, 9 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. Can't read my own typing. And Sydney, she was a year old when she went missing. She'd now be 23. She was 2'6" and 22 pounds. She had black hair and brown eyes. Jennifer was last seen in Topeka with her 2 daughters, Sydney and Monique. They left home at approximately 8 p.m. to go to a male acquaintance's home. They never arrived, and none of them have ever been seen or heard from again. Jennifer's car was found abandoned at an apartment complex a week later. Sydney was 1 year old at the time of her disappearance. Monique was 6 weeks old, as we talked about. Both girls are of Caucasian and African-American descent with black hair and brown eyes. Their height and weights are approximate for when they were last seen. And if anybody has information regarding Jennifer or her girls' disappearance, please call the Topeka Police Department at 785-368-9400 or 785-368-9474 or 785-368-9551 or at KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get them located. And hopefully they're safe and sound out there somewhere, but see if we can help find them and get them located. And I did these 2 latest age progression photos. I just added those recently too. Those are new age progression photos that were just done.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long ago were they done?
Just recently, because I just checked National Center for Missing and Exploited's website the other day, and I was like, oh, new age progression, so that they just were really recent. So
okay. Wow.
It's just interesting, on their way to a male acquaintance's house, and they never arrived, and they've never been seen or heard from again. And her vehicle was found abandoned in an apartment complex a week later. So it just makes you wonder.
Yeah.
I don't know. But again, I'm a firm believer that somebody out there somewhere knows something. So, if you know something, please call it in. Don't hesitate to call it in.
Yeah. And I'm just glad that these age progression photos exist, like that's something we couldn't do, Yeah.
There's one case on National Center that we covered his case before, Vincent Moore, and they have yet to ever do an age progression for him. And I hope they do one soon. Because he was just a baby when he went missing, and he'd now be like 7 years old now. So,
yeah, that's, I don't know, man. That's just, that's another thing about Tatum being a part of the team is, I used to look at all these old flyers and I didn't know where to start as far as who was still missing, who was found. And now that we, so we're seeing some cases that are just older, and I'm glad they're getting attention.
Yeah. Amanda says it's amazing how they do age progression. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And Tatum says law enforcement's looking into getting Vincent's done. That's good.
We have some ideas for the future. I haven't even told Ricky about it, but Brandon had some really good ideas, and I hate to be vague, but I am. But Brandon has some really great ideas for the live stream photos that I'll talk to Ricky about later. But things are going to look really cool if we can get some of that stuff going. But yeah, it's just crazy what you can do with technology and pictures and everything. Tell us about Tommy Randall Cook.
Okay. He went missing from Pueblo, Colorado on August 14, 2013. He was 25 when he went missing. He'd now be 34. He's 5'8", 185 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. He went missing from his father's home on West Cookdale Drive near South Angus Avenue in Pueblo. Thomas and his father had an altercation, and Thomas left, leaving his wallet and all forms of identification behind. It was reported that he was heading back to Wichita, Kansas, to be with family and friends. His only way to get there would have been to hitchhike. Thomas never arrived in Wichita or returned back to his father's. Thomas has not contacted any family, friends, or logged into any of his regularly used social media accounts. Those closest to him are very concerned because this is out of character for him, and he seemed depressed before his disappearance and is now without his medications. He does have 2 children. His disappearance is out of character for him, and he would never go this long without any contact. If you have any information regarding Thomas's disappearance, or you know of his whereabouts, please call Detective John Burgos at 719-583-4730 or Pueblo County, Colorado Sheriff's Office at 719-583-6125 and see if we can help get Thomas located and back home to his family. That's been nearly 10 years. Another year will be 10 years. It's almost on the 9-year anniversary here pretty soon.
Yeah, I used to go to Pueblo. I hate to say used to go. I went there like once. I've been there a couple times for different reasons, but I went there with a friend of mine who was in a pretty bad part of their story. Just one of the reasons I kind of stayed away from drugs or anything like that. But I had a friend that I cared about that just struggled a lot. But we went to Pueblo, and I'm sure Pueblo's, like we were talking earlier, Garden City being a beautiful place. I think Pueblo's probably a beautiful place, but my friend somehow managed to show me a very dark side of that town.
No, wow.
Just a lot of heartbreak, a lot of, dangerous things. So yeah, anytime I think of Pueblo, I just remember seeing that side of it. But yeah, this is another one that I'm so glad we're sharing again. But we're going on 10 years here.
Yeah.
What?
Pretty close.
12 days.
Yeah, it'll be a 9-year anniversary in here in just about 12 days.
Oh, 9 year. You're right.
Yeah.
I was looking at age now.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so it'll be the 9-year. Wow. Well, that's I'm glad we're getting these flyers out there. People need to see this stuff.
Yeah, me too.
This one looks like it's a little bit more recent. We have covered her in the past. Tell us a little bit about Alana.
Okay, I've got to go get her flyer out of my files because I apparently overlooked her when I was listing everything.
Oh wow!
So
yeah, another town,
shakes.
Coffeyville, Kansas. I know it exists, but no idea where on the map. Ricky, before this is all said and done, you, me, Tatum, and Brandon, and Double T, we're gonna get ourselves an RV. We're gonna go see all these towns.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, okay, I've got her flyer ready now. She is missing from Coffeyville, Kansas since May 31st of 2022. She's 17, 5'2", 180 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. Has a tattoo of flowers on her lower left arm and a tattoo on her upper right chest. If you have any information regarding Alana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Coffeyville, Kansas Police Department at 620-252-6160 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Alana located and back to where she needs to be. And hopefully she's out there okay.
Yeah. People are making fun of me in the chat, I think. I just gotta... Ed Debbie Miller says, Derek, maps on the internet. Listen, Ed Debbie, whichever one we're talking to here. I happen to be old enough to have used MapQuest before. Thank you very much. I used to know where everything was, but now I'm not what's that Toby Keith song? I ain't as good as I once was. Yeah, I don't remember things like I used to remember.
I got you beat. I'm old enough to have used the fold-out paper maps and road atlases.
See, I'm glad I missed that. See, I don't. What blows my mind is I did Uber here in Phoenix for a couple of years, and like I got around because I had a GPS. But I just would think like taxi drivers, like 30 years ago, you just get in your car and like I need to go here, and you're just like, they just knew where it was. It just blows my mind. We are not as I don't think we have as great as memories as we used to because of like technology, and that's a whole nother show. But yeah, I really rely on my GPS quite a bit. Let's hear some a tragic one that we're going to talk about. This is Jamie Hernandez Zubia. Looks like we're going on 7 years ago. Tell us about this unsolved homicide.
Yeah, this is the case that really has got me really pushing, even though they're a runaway, they still need to be found because she was, one of these habitual runaways. She ran away quite frequently. This happened on May 30th, 2015 in Kansas City, Kansas. She wasn't missing. Endangered runaway went missing on June 9th of 2012 from Athena, Kansas. She was found shot to death in the 2500 block of Ridge Avenue in Kansas City, Kansas. According to one witness, 2 cars were driving down the street, one being a late 1990s or early 2000 Ford F-150 pickup with a standard cab, 20-inch rims, a flared side, and had a bullet hole in the tailgate. Jamie sat in one of the passenger seats, but it's not clear if she was in the truck or the other car. With no warning, the drivers of both cars opened fire on each other, and Jamie was killed in the crossfire. The driver leaned over her lifeless body, pushed the passenger door open, and dumped her on the side of the road and sped away. And to this point, no suspects have ever been identified in her death. And so, if you have any information regarding her death, please call, the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477, or you can submit it online at kccrimestoppers.com or the p3tips.com mobile app. Like I said, it's just a really tragic situation. She'd been missing for nearly 3 years when she was shot. So, just a little over 3 years, actually. No, not quite 3 years. I'll take that back. But yeah, just a senseless thing,
Yeah.
From some information I saw, it said she was an emancipated teenager at 13 years old, and what qualified her to do that at 13 was that she may have had a child of her own. Not sure on that one or not, but she bounced around from foster home to foster home, and like I said, she ran away frequently. So
some people grow up fast.
Yeah.
Just face unworldly realities become their life at a young age.
And law enforcement did eventually recover the truck, and they talked to the owner of the truck, but they're not sure that the owner was actually driving the truck that night. So I did read that piece of information as well. The other vehicle, to my knowledge and to what I've been able to find, has not been identified yet as what kind of vehicle it was, which I found interesting that the witness who saw everything was able to really detailed describe the truck, but not the other vehicle. Kind of confused me a little bit there, but
yeah,
I don't know. Well, like I say, this is a case that really has gotten me to really pushing to get the runaways found too, is because stuff like this.
Yeah.
And it's not the first instance I've read recently. This one I've known about for quite some time because I originally had missing persons flyer from her from when she went missing in 2012. But recently I've read, at least, thanks to Tatum, at least 2 more instances of missing runaways that were found murdered. So, it's a sad deal. They weren't in this state, they were other states, but still, doesn't stop the fact that even though they're a runaway, they still need to be found. They don't need to be looked at as, they're just a runaway. They don't need to be looked at like that. Not at all.
Yeah. I hate seeing the unsolved homicides. We got to cover them. We got another one right here. Unsolved homicide, Eric Rae Reeves, Great Bend, Kansas. Not a very big town at all.
Yeah, I do have to apologize. I got a little emotional on that one because that one just really bothers me. See, this is Eric Rae Reeves. This was June 5th of 2005, Great Bend, Kansas. He called friends on the night of June 4th, 2005. He had broken up with his girlfriend and wanted company. It was late, and his friends were at a party at the dam. One friend was getting off work soon and would pick him up, so Eric went to the party that night. At some point during the party, Eric argued with someone and walked off around 2 a.m. Friends looked for him, but they thought he must have gotten a ride when he got to the highway. The next morning, they tried to call Eric and got no answer, so they called Marcy, Eric's sister, to see if she had heard from him. After finding out that she had not heard from Eric, they knew something wasn't right. A search began soon afterwards, and authorities were called to assist. Sheriff's officers, highway patrol, state troopers, and even a helicopter search, but darkness fell and Eric was not to be found. The next morning, after 2 more hours of searching, 2 friends on 4-wheelers found Eric lying in the tall grass in the ditch. He was dead. Evidence was found that Eric had been hit from behind by a 1995 or newer Peterbilt semi-truck. The accident was never reported, and the driver has never been found. If you have any information regarding Eric's death or information on the truck or the truck driver, please call the Barton County, Kansas Sheriff's Department at 620-793-1876 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463, and let them know what you know about who may have hit Eric or any information you have on the vehicle, and see if we can't get somebody located in that case. And same with Jamie Hernandez Zubia. If you know anything about that case or who was in the truck driving it, who was in the other car driving it, call it in, for crying out loud.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's the only way to get anywhere on any of this stuff is to get the information out where it needs to be.
Yep, definitely.
Well,
saying there was no articles on his case, so please share his flyer on the facebook.com/Kansas Missing Unsolved Cases page. And all the unsolved homicides that we cover will be on that page as well. And she has also posted them on other sites that she belongs to as well.
On top of things.
So thank you, Tatum, for doing that.
Let's talk about Kathy Webb.
Yeah, the next two cases are going to be interesting because it deals with two sisters that were both killed on the same day, 12 years apart. So this is interesting. Don't know if they're connected, related, or what the deal. But Kathy Webb was her situation was January 15th, 1988, Sugar Creek, Missouri. 26-year-old Kathy Webb's body was found by teenagers driving on a Cement City Road on an intersecting gravel road about halfway between the Missouri-Portland Cement Company and Missouri 291 near railroad tracks in a remote area of Sugar Creek, Missouri on January 15, 1988. Autopsy results indicated that she died from a blow to the head. She also had multiple superficial wounds. Some were described as punctures to her side and right side of her torso. The weapon used was never identified or recovered. There was no evidence of a sexual assault, as Kathy was found fully clothed in a blue jean jacket and blue jeans. Robbery did not appear to be the motive for Kathy's murder, as she still had cash in her pocket, but no identification. She was also wearing a gold chain. At the time of her murder, Kathy was 5 months pregnant. Last contact Kathy had was a phone call to her sister between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, asking her sister to pick up her daughter from a babysitter who lived near Kathy's apartment. Now, if you have any information regarding Kathy's death, please call the Sugar Creek, Missouri Police Department at 816-252-7058 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477 and see if we can figure out who did this to Kathy and help get some justice for her and her family.
Yeah. So long ago, 88.
Yeah.
I was 5.
I was roughly almost 21.
I was going to say, you were causing trouble by 88.
Yeah, I was almost 21.
Well, we can cover Anita Phillips because you said, these are obviously connected.
Yeah, it's her sister. And this was on January 15th, 2000, 12 years later. In Kansas City, Kansas. Anita C. Webb Phillips of Northeast Kansas City, mother of 3. Her charred body was discovered at a park near Ridge Avenue and South 13th Street in Kansas City, Kansas. Her body was discovered after an identified person put the fire out. The person then called Kansas City, Kansas police. Anita was likely involved in prostitution at the time. Anita was known as a good person that was making bad choices. She was fun to be around and enjoyed life. If you have any information regarding Anita's case, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477 and see if we can't figure out who did this to Anita and get some justice for her and her family as well as Kathy. Just find it interesting they were killed on the same day, 12 years apart.
Yeah.
Yep. Very strange, Amanda. Very strange.
Well, I mean, for whoever's in related to these two poor women.
Yeah.
Like that's the worst day in the world. And it makes you wonder. Anybody has say that know nothing about this, just to know that fact is just like very eerie. It's like, how is it connected? Or
Yeah, that's one of the unknowns in the whole thing. Was it coincidence? Are they connected? I mean, nobody knows. I mean, I'm sure somebody might know, but I mean, if you know anything about it, let police know immediately.
that's enough to make you scratch your head.
Yeah. Yep. And Tatum she brought up a good point too. If anybody has any cases they would like us to do flyers for, message us at KMU on the Facebook page. We'll get them covered. Or you can go to kmupod.com and we have a submission form there as well. And the out-of-state of Kansas cases we do as well once in a while.
I'm with Amanda. She says very strange to have them both murdered 12 years apart.
Yeah, very strange.
Very strange. We have one more case to cover, unless I'm missing one, which is totally a possibility. I have Dwight Newsom here, and this is a Wichita case from earlier this year.
Yep, missing since February 13th of 2022, so earlier this year. Was 27 when he went missing. He's now 28, 5'11", 140 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes. If anybody has any information regarding Dwight's disappearance or of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Dwight located and back to home where he needs to be. I'm sure he's got family out there that's worried about him and wanting to know where he's at and what happened to him. I want him home, I'm sure.
Yeah. I hate the age nows.
Yeah.
Anytime there's an age now, that means like it's just been a while, like.
Yeah. I think it puts, to me, I don't know, maybe I think it puts a sense of urgency on it, saying, okay, they've been missing this long, let's get them found,
No, I mean, you're right, but I mean, I just hate seeing an age now because it's just like, man, this flyer, it hasn't brought Dwight home yet. And
right.
Anytime you see an age now, it means that, we've been sharing this for a while. So,
yeah.
So, yeah. Well, that's all the flyers I have. What I'm going to do is take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to close out the show.
Yeah, we don't have a located safe reel tonight because we only had like 4 or 5, so we want to kind of wait until they build up to a little bit more to do the reel. So,
right, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have one for the show next week.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna check in with Brandon again one more time. We're gonna learn about Alex LaRussa, and then we'll be right back after this.
Okay.
Hi, this is Brandon with the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast, and today I want to talk about Alex LaRussa, one of our outstanding cases. He went missing on December 8th of 2017. He was 25 at the time he went missing. He would now be 29 years old. The last contact with family Alex had was at 4 a.m. on December 8th. Alex is wheelchair bound as his left leg is amputated above the knee. At the time of his disappearance, Alex was 25 years old. He would now be 29 years old. He's 6'2", weighs 175 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. Alex has a tattoo on the left side of his neck that says pain. If you have any information regarding Alex's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 and let's work to try and get Alex back home.
Well,
I'm going to add a little bit to that because we do know that Alex's vehicle was found abandoned in the northeast part of the county with his wheelchair and other personal items inside of it. So we do know that much.
Right. Yeah.
I need to add that to the flyer too. So Tatum, don't let me forget to do that.
She won't.
Oh, no, she won't. That's why I asked her not to let me forget.
Yeah, and we will be back. It'll be a long haul. It'll be Thursday next week when we do the show again.
Yeah,
Um,
it's our big turnaround.
yeah. So my new days off are Sundays and Mondays.
Oh wow.
So, but the beautiful thing about my new job is it's manual labor, so it's a lot of work. But today I worked later than I've ever worked, and I got home at 3:10. So that's an easy day, And today was like a bad day, I guess, because usually I'll be home like at 2:15. But yeah, Tatum's right. The located safes are going to be posted. You'll see those on the Kansas Missing Unsolved Facebook page. And so.
And Amanda says, "Thank you for your hard work. God bless." Well, God bless you too, Amanda, and you're very welcome.
Yeah. Well, another successful show on the books. Ricky, you know what to do to get us out of here, and I'm stoked for next week, man.
Sure. Let's just real quick. If Tatum's okay with it, I'm going to bring her up real quick. Just say hi to everybody.
Okay.
See her down there. There we go. There's Tatum, my newest helper. My right hand, my partner.
She's muted. Yeah, you're muted, Tatum.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, everybody.
So this is who's been updating all the pages and keeping Ricky busy like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Which is fine. I don't mind. I got a list of emails she sent me last night. I got to go through.
Tatum, do you have any? This would be a good time for you to sort of talk to the audience. What are some things that people could do as people who follow our page, share our flyers? What are some things that people could do that would help you out?
I really enjoy like the comments, like if they know something, if your family, loved one, anything, let us know. Any updates that you get. I do contact law enforcement a lot. I do a lot of phone calls, making some connections. If you do know the detective or anything that might be on their case, let us know. It makes it a little bit easier for us. I have had a lot of family reach out. Like I said, I've been sharing a lot of our flyers out on other sites, and I've had family members contact us. I'm working on getting the statutes out again for Missouri and Kansas. I think I sent out already. We've been doing a lot of organizing with the new folders and stuff, so they're a little bit easier for people to find cases. If you have articles that you find, send those to us or post it because we'll see it. Just anything. The best thing I could say is share the pages, post them anywhere and everywhere you can, because we have gotten a lot of results with the sharing.
It's crazy. I looked at the KMU numbers the other day. It was like in the last quarter, the flyer, everything, like all in total, we've been viewed like 400,000 times. It just blows my mind.
Right. Wow. And I love seeing people from out of state because I know I share on a lot of the out of state ones, and I've met some really great people that are, willing to share. So,
yeah. Bernice is asking what other sites are the flyers shared on. She hasn't seen her sister shared. Just keeping an eye out so I could also share from those pages as well.
The Missing Truth. I have a connection with Missing Truth. They share a lot of our flyers. I'm on a Oklahoma, Kansas one. I'm on several Missouri pages. I'm on a lot of ones unsolved, missing cases. I think there's even an international site that I'm on because there are a lot of people they're finding in Mexico, whether they're a fugitive or missing, that they're looking for help here in the United States because they know they do belong somewhere here. I don't know. I'm on a lot of cold cases sites, which includes like the cold case homicides, but it also includes these old missing persons. I don't know. I'm probably on 20, 30 sites. And so on top of updating our sites, I go ahead and I update those sites. And I know there's some people that are probably on here that belong to those other sites that I've noticed, and they share as well. So I can make you a list if you would like, Bernice, and put it out there. I'm more than willing to share everywhere I belong.
And
too.
she is Yolanda Hernandez's sister.
Yeah, I knew that. So I just want to get people notice, people move. That's the other big thing. We're so close to the borders. Like people that go missing in Kansas City and stuff, they could go anywhere. They could be Iowa, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas. So yeah, I try to share them everywhere I can possibly think of, especially the older ones too.
Trisha Arnold shows up at the buzzer to say hi, and she's telling Tatum she's doing great.
Thank you,
we
Trisha.
love you, Trisha. Holding down the YouTube audience. Still no sign of Shady Booty.
No, I haven't seen Shady Booty in a while. We had somebody watching from YouTube using the name Shady Booty.
Okay.
But they were nice. They were really nice.
Yeah.
And then you can always contact. Just send the Facebook page that you're watching a direct message anytime, and Ricky and Tatum will get with you. Yeah. So unless we're sleeping, we're usually pretty quick to respond to people.
I'm usually on all day. I check.
Yeah.
I keep on pretty much all day.
She's been beating me to the punch on the messages because I used to have to try to answer them from work, as I could take my breaks and stuff, but she's keeping them up. I still get the alerts, but she answers them. I still get the alerts, but you answer before I can. Right. Which is fine. That's the kind of help I need.
So just communicate. You can always shoot a message, email, whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, Ricky, you know what to do to get us out of here, man. Let's do this.
Okay. Well, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us again another night to go over some more missing persons and unsolved homicide cases, and just pray that people do the right thing and speak up and say, "Hey, here's what I know about this case or that case," and so we can bring some closure to some families and bring some missing people home, and just keep everybody safe and keep everybody healthy and happy, and remember, just respect each other, be there for each other, help each other, and do the best we can for each other. And until we see each other next week, you guys take care. God bless, and amen.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicidal crisis or emotional distress, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.